Hello. Alright. Okay, my mic's not gonna be working. New this time. 1 second. Alright. How are we going? No? 1 second. Working. Alright, how about now? No? Alright, how's that working now? Oh, it is working. We're good. Alright, hello beautiful peasants and welcome into the Tavern. I know you guys can hear it. It's a long story, but it's not important and we're fixed. My first fix worked, I didn't expect that. Alright, well good. I'm happy that worked out. Hello. I just had a sense this morning. The Tavern Keeper is me. Is in a mood today. For no real reason. I expect once I start sculpting, I'm going to be like just totally vibing and stuff. I'm just grouchy for no reason, which is funny, and I like to share that because when nothing's actually wrong, I think it's good to poke fun at yourself. You know what I mean? And I knew immediately. I was like, mic's not going to work today. And I knew it. But I actually fixed it the first time, which is great. I was going to have to thought I was going to pull out the big guns, but I didn't have to. So, yay. And then just to fit with it, I decided, why have an easy request? Let's just be what is it? Instead of easy peasy lemon squeezy, difficult lemon difficult. But no, really, I'm actually excited for the request today. Alo is gonna lose her mind. We're doing all hard surface modeling today, which is funny because Alo even asked me. They were like, "Hey, do you have any hard surface stuff coming up?" And I was like, "No." They're like, "What about? Would you ever do a mech?" And I was like, "No." And that's exactly what we're doing today. I don't know how I forgot about this request completely. I even planned it for this week, so I don't know. I just spaced it. But hope y'all are doing well. This is your hint. We have a Chad here with a single poly on his chest. I guess it's a bit of a spoiler. If you're in the Discord, you know what we're working on today. But yeah. It's gonna be a good one today. Alright. Big warm hello and welcome to Duke Wendelier, of course, Aloha. We got Paint just lingual, though muted today, just lingual. And Jolly Row. Hello. Always good to see y'all. Oh, and my husband, Ricky. How did I exclude you? I'm excited for this weekend for 2 reasons. One, because it is Ricky and I's 11-year anniversary on Sunday. We don't have any super special plans as of right now, other than just having a good old time. Probably gonna grab some ribeyes and grill all day Sunday. And then yesterday, to kind of kick things off, we bought a Nintendo Switch 2, which we know it's already here and stuff. There was one in stock, so we picked it up. So I'm excited about that. I really have become not like an FPS snob by any means, but if you guys have played Pokemon Scarlet Violet, it's a struggle. It's a struggle on the normal Switch. I mean, you're nowhere near 30 FPS. And honestly, if it was just sustained terrible 20, I wouldn't care. It's when it jumps up to 30 and it jumps to 7. And I'm like, oof. So I'm really excited to play it on Switch 2 to get those stable frame rate. And then there's more spawns in the encounters. So I'm excited about that. It's been a good time. Oh, and Empress is here. Hello. What else in this little warm-up here? Oh, our Kickstarter is ending today if it has not ended already. So if you wanted our Book of Beasts, which comes with stat blocks and tokens and goodness, today is your last chance to grab that. Of course, you can always just back our Patreon at the Legendary tier. That is also a fantastic deal. But if you like buying stuff one-off a la carte, then Kickstarter is the way to go. I probably should provide a link to that if I'm going to talk about it, huh? That would be wise. Watch it already be ended, and I'm like, just kidding, it's done. You get nothing. In that case, you have to join the Patreon. There's 18 minutes left. Wow, okay. If you guys want it, it's literally now or never. There are 18 minutes left. Just letting you know. All right. Well, I'm glad I brought it up now instead of in a few minutes. This project was a fun little one to get out there. I'm super happy with how it went. We'll definitely have more like this. Yeah. The TAVERB menu is closed today. Of course, donations, tips, super chats, whatever, they're always appreciated, but you get nothing special today other than a big thank you and encourage me to cook because I'm working hard today and yesterday. Yesterday we were working on a half dragon minotaur. You got to see it to understand it from scratch. And today we're doing full hard surface mech armor because I'm a glutton for punishment. Now I have an easier request I could process today, and I actually have models I can clean up posing, but I don't know. Whenever I'm kind of like in a mood for no reason, I'm like, no, you're gonna do your job. You're not gonna coast. And I forget. I totally forget that I'm in a mood because I do love sculpting, love my job. So having a problem kind of sink my teeth into sounds like a good time, ironically. So yeah, I think that's everything. Y'all have any questions for me? Questions, comments, concerns? If not, we're gonna leave doors open and hop right into the Tavern Keeper's Craft. Yeah, Aloha was like, what? A mech? I know. And you even asked me earlier, you were like, do you have any hard surface coming up? I'm like, no. And you're like, would you ever do like a full mech suit? And I'm like, no, it's stupid. And now I'm like, it's exactly what we're doing and it's super cool. It's a fish folk artificer. You know what, if we're gonna talk about it, let's just move on. Hello, welcome to the Tavern Keeper's Craft. This is where I sculpt Patreon requests into 3D printable models. If you want to submit your own Patreon request, join Patreon. Links in the description, all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's talk about today's request because it's insane. Send help, send vibes. It's one of the, that's a funny look. It's one of the few models or requests that I get where I'm like, today might just be an attempt, number one, and that's okay. Here we go. This is from the lovely Robert Payne. And they say, I have a character concept I'll be putting into a Spelljammer game in the near future. He is a Locathanth. It's a fish person. And an artificer with power armor. His armor has the shape of a large robotic humanoid shark with a head able to flip back to show the fishman's head. This kind of reminds me of the final boss in Okami. Anyway, the armor is large, burly, and has sharp mechanical claws and a fin on its back. There are also ports on its hands where you're able to shoot lasers from, like Iron Man. So yeah, very, very cool. I grabbed some fish folk people, some mech armor, and then he sent me additional stuff. He sent me this image here and this one he made in Hero Forge with a little follow-up saying, hey, Hero Forge model had limitations. Ideally, I'd like the fish portion to be recognizably fishy, but also techy/nerdy. And if you're reading that and you're like, what Robert means is just making this. See, this looks kind of like Dragonoid, almost. Dragonoid, that's a new word. Anyway, there's no mechanicalness to this. So yeah, a bit more on the tech side. So the goggles are a good start, but maybe I'll have like a more, almost like intercom-esque type of thing on there. All right. And then the suit itself with the head on would look like the shark mech thing I made with AI, maybe a bit burlier, bigger claws, Hulk proportions on a medium frame, which is this image. And as you can tell, it has little hands right now. And then to make this look a little bulkier, we're gonna go for more of a big triangle here. So you have a normal triangle here. We're gonna go even wider on top without actually changing the size class. If you guys have been around for a bit, this is not really something that is up my strong suit, but I'm getting better. This is what I made with, I think this is ChatGPT, I can't remember. I think it's decent. It's just that lacking, soul. So we're gonna fuse all of these references that I have grabbed into one epic model. So yeah, you got any questions? I sure do. I'm like, help, how do I do this? Whenever I have a model that is giving me a bit of the fear, one, I feel honestly a bit of gratitude that I still run into models where I'm like, how do I do this? I don't look forward to the day, and I don't think it'll ever happen, where I can just sculpt anything, And then another thing that's important when you are sculpting models, again, that give you a bit of the fear, just think of it like an attempt 1. More than likely, today's gonna go great. I'm gonna have a cool model at the end of it. But taking the pressure off and not expecting it to turn out fantastic is really, really important. So yeah. Yeah, I've heard Aloha's feelings. I was just being belligerent that day when you asked me 2 questions that were exactly what we're doing today. And I even said, I'm like, no, I only know what we're doing this week. And then this is exactly what you were asking about. I am nothing if not self-aware. And sorry. I'm sorry, Aloha. Genuinely. Oh my gosh. I think that's because I have the mystery stream from you coming up, and that's me trying to discourage you making me do a mech for the mystery stream as much as possible, which I realize I have brought upon myself. Okay. Enough of that. I hope y'all are having a good Friday, and if not, I hope this stream makes your day a little bit better. I'm already feeling better. So let's make this totally not intimidating Fishman. Oh, I'm afraid. Okay. We're gonna start with the breastplate because that gives me some confidence. All right. So I got this male body here. I went ahead and duplicated it and deleted subdivision levels on one of them. We're gonna simplify our subtools here a touch because, well, it actually doesn't matter if he has eyebrows and eyeballs because we're gonna make him a fishman. So let's go ahead and delete that first. And I'm gonna keep the body with subdivision levels just so it's easier to pose later on. All right, we have a single poly. I can do this. Okay. I'm gonna scoot this over, I think. So what's most important here is also just having like a plan of attack that makes sense. I'm gonna make this cool breastplate. It's gonna be 2 different pieces. Our main like plates. I'm thinking, do I want this one piece with the pecs extruded off of it, or just gonna model like 2 pecs? Let me look at the more simple armor suit that I have on here, and maybe I'll focus on this one first. Yeah, we're gonna do this one first, and then I'll look at the more complicated reference for improvement. Okay. All right, when you are hard surface modeling, I like to get this first polygon as close to the chest as I can. And then another thing that's important is just making this as large as possible. Like, how much surface area can I cover before I need to change, you know, the shape and add edge loops, that kind of stuff. That's probably a good initial portion. All right, next thing we're gonna do is use our Z modeler brush. I'm gonna hold spacebar, have extrude move. We're gonna have snap to surface and smart attraction. This technique that I'm doing here is not mine. I'm gonna put a link in the description and in our Discord. This is roughly what I'm following, and I have not used this technique very much. But I want you guys to know there's like the full demo of where I got this from. All right, so yeah, we can click extrude move, and there you go. We now have another portion, and the reason why it's kind of sinking into the body is because we have that 2 different settings I have on here, which is snap to surface, and then smart attraction is what's gonna make it so if I add more pieces, see how it kind of like, boop, snaps together? That's why that's happening. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make sure I have our wireframe turned on with Shift F. And then, yeah, we're gonna kind of just create these pieces. And we are not panicking. We are not worried about the fear. We're okay. I'm also gonna have dynamic, and we're gonna have flat subdivision turned on, but smooth subdiv turned off. Flat subdiv will just pretty much make it so our corners stay nice and sharp here without smoothing the surface. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and move this off the body a touch, and then I'll grab the move brush and I can kind of form this to him a bit better. And that's pretty much the technique. That's it. We're gonna do what I normally do here as far as like just looking at, okay, do we have all the shapes that we need, and then we'll refine and make them more interesting. This is our initial shape here. Kind of going for a more classic armor breastplate type of deal because I've done that before and I understand that. So it looks like the way it's starting to cut through his pec here, I just need a little more resolution. So I'm going to insert an edge loop, insert a single edge loop, just like that. And that will allow me to move this even more, have it fit the body a little better. Kind of just looking at where everything's going to fall. And then lots of sharp edges. Okay. This is a shape I do really common, like this is a frequent shape that I do, and I don't want to just make the same damn thing 100 times, you know what I mean? So, but I also don't want to like push too hard and then crash out on this model. So it's going to be a healthy in between. I think we're going to do more of an inverted shape here for once. More like that. There we go. And then I'd like to have this wrap around him, but not obviously cover his shoulders and arms. It's got to have armholes, is what I'm trying to say. I don't really do that very often, so let me see if I can figure that out. I'm going to insert an edge loop right here, and then I'm going to grab just this edge, do extrude move, and we're going to kind of see if I can just float on to the back here. It's working. Cool. And I'm using my move brush to pull shapes out as needed. Neato. It's working. Again, this is a technique I don't have a whole lot of experience with, but I'm really looking forward to getting better and trying it out. What are we doing? Extrude edge. No, we want to extrude move. Thank you. There we go. I thought I was acting weird. All right, and then right here, it's being really weird. I think I might want to just bridge these points because I'm coming up to that center line. I did create, that's not a triangle. I know my shapes. There we go. I'm going to turn off symmetry, hold spacebar right here on the edge, not a point, not a polygon, on the edge. Spacebar, bridge, edges. First edge, second edge. Neat, it worked. I'm going to mirror and well just to make sure we have a nice center line in the back still. Empress says, I missed the start. What are we cooking today? We're cooking a fish folk artificer. The full description is in the Peasant Hub on Discord. There's a lot to this one. Okay. I would also like to construct this in a way that is reusable for the future. So I'm trying to be very thoughtful with it. I don't want to be rushy. I want it to be cool and usable. All right, so Smart Attraction's kind of being a little crazy right here. Yeah, it's panicking a little bit, which is okay. So this is the stream. This is going to be doing it. It's all hard surface. There are other techniques where you can, you know, do the same thing. But this is something that I don't have a lot of practice in. I want to get better. And the only way to get better is to do it. So we're doing it. There we go. Can I just bridge these? Nah, I didn't think so. I think I want more pieces anyway. There we go. And then I'll bridge this center portion. Everything that I am creating here and the way I'm creating it is for one intention, and that is to look cool and to 3D print. It is not to be riggable. It is not to become a video game asset. It's really important to know what you are creating and what the purpose is. All right, we got this kind of top piece on here. And then we also can have thickness. Oh, look, lots of references. Armor/helmet reference for the fish man. This is really cool. I also like this a lot for the fish man. Yeah, and then if I get, if I panic, we are going to take a break and sculpt the fish head because I know I can do that. Thank you, Aloha. I feel supported. All right, insert single edge loop. And then I would like there to be a preview of thickness on this, so I know what's going on. It does look a little lumpy to me. Let's make it even smoother. And then let's pick a color. Or kind of like a dark steel color here. Shark gray. So I imagine it kind of has this overlappingness or whatever because I have so many edge loops. I don't know if I need all that. Could probably simplify some of these pieces here. But I don't want it to break itself either. Like, please don't break yourself. Like, for example, this edge loop here, I was able to delete no problem. Like that. So here's before, here's the after. It's just finding things that, like, I think I need them for construction, and then I find out, oh, no, I don't need them. And then I move them around. Oh, like right here, that's a bit of a concern. We have a hole, I think. Yeah. Well, that's really easy to fix. I can go ahead and just mask that. And we can do a nice little bridge. There we go. Perfect. And now it's behaving. What is this? Oh, thank you, Aloha. I can do this, and I am doing it. And then right here, I think it's one of the few places where we might benefit from a triangle to have a smoother curve line here. All right. We have 2 out of bounds UV coordinates. I have no idea what it's talking about. I'm gonna just delete hidden if there was anything being silly. And we're not using UV, so I'm also not too fussed about that. Empress, I agree, it is a tall order, and Rob knows that. Rob is super cool, so he's just excited that I am trying this at all, I think. Because it's, again, it's really not what I do. This level of hard surface and whatnot. He has like a little weird bra tank top right now. Let's try to make this look more like a piece of armor, shall we? How come when the guy in the video did this, it was like super smooth, and when I'm doing it, it's not smooth? You know what I mean? You watch a tutorial and you're like, wow, so cool. And then you do it and you're like, what the heck? Not as cool. Because I don't think he used smooth subdiv. And the more that I go back and forth, the more it's changing that shape. The heck? I'm gonna figure it out. They have dynamic. They do have smooth subdiv and flat subdiv utilized. All right. I figured it out. It's both. I also think these out of bounds UV coordinates are causing problems. Okay, I did stuff. I have stuff. That's cool that I did that. And I'm gonna get rid of it because it's not behaving the way that I would expect it to. And I don't understand the problem with the out of bounds UV coordinates. I'm gonna try one thing really quick here to see if it makes more sense to me. And that is welding points. So we're gonna modify topology, weld points. And we'll kind of see what happens there. Yeah, again, I don't know what this is talking about. Sounds good. Dick says, I'm back. Super stoked for Mech Day. Oh, I'm glad. I am learning. So I am super stoked to, by the end of this, feel like I've learned something new. And if I decide I don't like this technique, that's totally okay. It's about trying stuff out today. So now, instead, we're gonna come back with this plane. I'm gonna grab a single point from it. There we go. Just one little polygon. And instead of working the breastplate, because I just did that and I wasn't super inspired by the way it was turning out, we're going to move our practice onto a pauldron. It's the same technique. If I don't like this technique again, I'm going to go back to my tried and true method, which I've done many, many times. But again, I'm trying to get more tools in my tool belt, and well, if I don't try them. I'm never gonna get better. So yeah. All right, here is our piece. And now we're gonna go, again, it's a combination of smooth subdiv and flat subdiv. And we're gonna start with thickness right from the get-go, which is closer to how the tutorial does it. No symmetry. Okay, we have our point. Let's see where we get. I'm gonna hold spacebar over this edge here, and we're not gonna use wireframes. That's not what the guy in the video uses either, which is bizarre to me. All right, extrude move. We have, again, snap to surface and smart attraction turned on. That's looking much more like the video already. Interesting. And then he doesn't always use the smart attraction. He mentioned sometimes it bothers him when he's trying to get certain shapes. Okay. And then I can use my move brush here to kind of sculpt it into place is what it feels like. And just like always, the trick is to not get too high poly. 6 shoulder pauldron, 10 out of 10. Thanks. And someone new is here. Oh goodness, you have a long username. Usually I'll just pick something out of it. I have no which one to pick. But hello and welcome. If you have something you'd prefer that I call you, let me know. All right. And if I need to, I can always add more edge loops and whatnot. All right, we have a piece here. I'm gonna go back to other one. There we go. And Duke says, ever considered a pinup day, but like TAVERB theme? This has happened. This has happened. We did like a Rosie the Riveter style pinup. I thought you were there for that. Can I mirror and weld this because there's technically, yeah, because there's not technically any subdivision levels. All right, we have a piece here. Let's just move right along on to the next thing. I want to just get pieces down. That looks like something, and I'm happy about it. Let's go, yeah, shark enjoyers. Enjoyers. The way I said that. So I'm going to grab, I think I have one that's called like Start Hard Surface, but all I need is just a single plane here. And I'm going to be doing this a lot of times. So what we'll do is I'll grab just one poly here, put that in the center of my scene, make it kind of small, make sure symmetry is turned on for this part. Then we're going to name this subtool Start, because I'm going to be coming back to this many times as I create new pieces. Let's duplicate that, and now we move this on to the next piece. Empress says, I'd love to be a shark mage who can summon spectral sharks to attack people. That's very specific. All right, we have another piece here. And then the same technique as before, which is turning on dynamic. And we're gonna have smooth subdiv and flat subdiv, both of them enabled. Currently I'm toying with making smooth subdiv at a 2 and flat at a 3, and kind of seeing how that goes. We also have a little bit of thickness here, not too much. And then back to extrude move to start creating these pieces. This one's gonna wrap around his arm, so I'm just kind of roughly getting this into place. I'm also using the move brush whenever needed. And then the last section, sometimes I find that smart attraction gets really confused, and so I will just bridge the points instead. Are we gonna be confused? I don't think you're actually connected. I think you just think you are. Yeah, we're gonna be confused. So whenever you're closing the object, I think it's best instead to switch from extrude move to bridge and then edges. Click your first edge here, and then your second edge. There you go. That seems to work better. I'm using my smooth brush here, or like polish by features, just to make sure that it's behaving the way that I think it is, because I don't love that. I don't trust it really. Because this is just like a box shape. I don't know if this technique's gonna work great for things that are fully enclosed. When you're making the shape, I don't know if I love that. I do like the flat planes though. Again, so today we are doing a hard surface mech as opposed to a soft surface mech. Anyway, and I'm using a technique that I haven't really done before. I have a video of it here. And again, it looks really cool when he does it. But this is also a bit different than what I'm doing here. I'm trying to create like a typical gauntlet right here. I'm not really liking it. Yeah, I also don't know anything much about Spelljammer either. Yeah, it's a mech suit and fishified. I know. Honestly, it's just a straight up mech suit, and then there are fish aspects, if that makes more sense. I'm not liking this technique very much. Again, we're trying stuff out today. Whenever I have to wrap the piece, not very impressed. It does well when it's just something flat. I feel like this would be so much easier to make the way I normally do. But I'm trying to give it a chance. I'm kind of thinking in my head here. No. No. Nah. We're doing this my way. There's two ways I like to do this. One, I will sculpt directly onto the body and then kind of like a ZBrush and polygroup off of that. Or two, I will mask and extract a bunch of individual pieces here. And that's the same workflow I did for my Centaur Artificer, which turned out very nice, if I do say so. I just don't love this so far. All right, I'm gonna try these sculpting directly onto the body. This is a technique that I really don't do very often, but I do think it's fun. So let's try it out. We're gonna make him kind of a steel gray color. Also adjust my lighting scene. I'd like to have a secondary light, would be nice. Also more on the white side. I usually have a warm light, but since we're working with metallics, I'm gonna have it a bit different. Odd that that color is the way that it is right now. Ah, I see. There we go. Empress says, I am partial to the mask extract method. Same, if I think that there's possibly a better way to do something, I'm gonna go find that method. Didn't love that just now. Which is disappointing because when I watch the video, I think it's so cool and I try to like put it into practice and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. So the first thing I'm gonna do if I'm gonna be sculpting onto the body is modify the body to the shape that I actually want. And they mentioned a bit more hulked out. So I'm just using my move brush here and making it closer to the form that it's actually going to be. If you have any questions about how I'm doing this, let me know, but it's all just the move brush. I think I'm just using this technique wrong. I think you're not really supposed to use it for armor. It's going to wrap. It's going to be individual pieces that you can then design off of. Yeah. Empress is not that you asked. No, I always like to know. His calves are so small. Do not skip leg day. Also, just be careful of tutorials that show off really cool techniques in isolation. You know what I mean? Emperor says, I can see this method. It's not like he's going to be out of the suit. Yeah, so why not turn his body into the suit? It's going to be a little bit of both. You'll see. You'll see. The kitchen is cooking for sure. It sure is. All right, so I like this. Oh, this is the one that had subdivision levels. We've lost subdivision levels if I didn't do that. Sad. Oh, no, we're good. Never mind, false alarm. All right, I'm gonna duplicate this, delete subdiv on this one piece here. And I'm now gonna start sculpting the armor onto the body, which again, this is weird. I don't really do things like this. In case anyone's wondering, it's like, okay, if you have a way that you like to do things, why are you doing things so different right now. There's always a better way to do it. There's always a new way, new trick, new tool. Simple. That's the best I gotta say. All right, we're gonna use our clay brush, I think, and we're gonna start building up this armor. I have a visual of where I want all these lines to fall, and I'm going to be using a lot of different brushes to sculpt this on. It's going to look messy. Do not clean up until you're at that stage. You're trying to lay out where everything is going to go right now. I have seen this technique used a lot to great success, and not in isolation, but like in, you know, actually being used. Looking at my reference a lot too, because I also don't really understand how a lot of this armor fits. So this is gonna be important for me to kind of pay attention, really look at my references and see what they're doing and how it's being done. There we go. Back to our clay brush here. And then I'm now gonna be creating kind of like this armor ab body panel. I think I'm gonna be doing a lot of mask and extract, or not extract, my bad. A lot of masking and inflating, interestingly enough. I probably should polygroup these as I go. This is kind of like a mimic of like the interior serratus muscles, but they're not quite in the right place. Oh, interesting. There's a new indie war game called Planet Shark, which features sharkanoids, anthropomorphic sharks, which can scavenge and create weapons from the junk. Look how cute this is. Oh my god. I love it. It's adorable. Next is kind of this like crotch underwear piece thing, and I can see that this ab armor we did was too low. I need this to not just look like a weird banana hammock. It needs to be normal metal underwear. But I really want to have like a strong gap around like where the pelvis is. So I want it to look movable. Kind of thinking like Halo Spartan-esque. And again, I'm really not caring about the lines and stuff here. I just want to map out what this armor is going to look like because I'm not certain. Alo is asking, what happened to the shoulder pads? Oh, we've already changed techniques. We are ripping along. That was so 15 minutes ago, Aloa. I'm joking, but I'm actually not joking. We're totally pivoting techniques here. Kind of just trying out what this would even look like. Because I don't do a whole lot of armor suits, so I don't have that kind of like almost, I would say, like muscle memory of where things go and what best complements the body. So instead of like obsessing on each little piece, I'm going to just focus on getting through it and then improving from there. Like, see, like this little, I don't know, tab, I like that. So I'm going to remember that and try to incorporate this shape in more spots, even if it's not in this specific spot. I like doing streams of things that I'm not good at because I'm not good at it yet. I'm going to be great at it, but not yet. But if I can show that on camera, I think that's perfect. I also appreciate nobody actuallying me. Yeet you out of here so hard. I get like, well, in order to move in this, I'm like, no, we are a fish man in an armor suit. We don't got time for no time for that. I know a lot of my students are also cooking and creating stuff as I'm working on this. I'd love to know what you guys are working on. Empress especially, I know you're always cooking on something, and Aloha's always working on something, but sometimes it's usually top secret, so we find out later. See, like that's already a much more interesting shape than what I was kind of creating up here. So I'm kind of just taking mental notes of like what made that an interesting shape, what makes that successful, what doesn't make that successful. And then I don't like the weird groin lines here, so I can kind of fill that in. Yeah, and then it looks like we are going to have these pieces on the side are going to stand out a touch more. Yes. Alright, all the knee armor always looks really cool. Let's face the armor, the knee straight on, and just draw a box, and then we're gonna make that a more interesting box. I'll look at my reference and we're gonna see what that looks like. There's a line here, there's a line here, and then they kind of create this more of like a diamond shape. What's this? Medieval knights would wrap the hilts of their sword in shark skin to improve their grip. That's really metal, that's really cool. So yeah, it seems like the best way to do this is a combination of like you mask it and then you like refine that shape. I do have the knee kind of in the wrong spot right now. So let's go ahead and bring that back up. We're gonna draw a line at the top of the knee and then kind of connect the dots. There we go. So instead I'm gonna clear what I have because I wasn't really liking how it was turning out. And I like this new construction method I had where I mark out the top and the bottom where the shape is gonna go. There we go. And then kind of just connect the lines. Yeah, that feels right. When I don't know how to do something, but I'm learning how, I don't like to just kind of like flail until I find something cool. I like to kind of like create pseudo methods that I'm like, maybe if I try this, maybe I try this. And that way it's like actually replicatable. I try to avoid how I am in the kitchen where it's just like, I'll just make stuff up and it tastes really good and like, oh, I want to have that again. And then I can never remember how to make that again. I know y'all know exactly what I'm talking about too. I also feel like the mask lasso brush might be the way because it's so much faster to create that like sharp shape. Maybe that's what I'm going to start doing a lot of. Obviously that won't work everywhere. Interesting. When Delia says, I'm currently trying to update a schematic set using a PNG from construction crew 5 states away. Wow, that's neat. Although it says, I have a really big plan for my Grimdark collection. I'm using it as a showcase of my skills and will have written pieces for each entry that only me can see. A huge checkpoint for me. Oh, how cool. I'm sure everyone would want to see it, but I understand if you're shy. I guarantee Empress read that and was like, I want to see it. Yeah, the mass lasso seems to be creating the most interesting organic shapes with the most ease. I will note that. It also needs, you need to sharpen the mask before you extract. Yeah, I think this might be the better way for me to do things. So the technique that I saw before, I think is super valid if you know how to create cool armor. I don't. So I was trying to skip steps. It doesn't matter how cool your techniques are if you don't even know what shape you want. Does that make sense? And then the feet actually need to just be masked and put into a different shape entirely. Otherwise, this is not going to work. So let me go with mask pen. because we have toes and all kinds of nonsense like that. So this needs to be made into like a little boot of sorts. Yeah, actually I can do this. We're gonna mask just the feet. I'm gonna reduce the poly count really, really low by Destination Master, and then ZBrush. All right, just like that, ZBrush. Oh, hello, Just Single says, I'm no longer deaf for 2 whole hours. Very nice. We are working on this crazy mech suit, and I'm gonna figure it out. Because now that I kind of have these shapes sketched on here, I wouldn't be surprised if the technique I tried at the beginning of the stream would now work a lot better. Because I didn't even know what shape I wanted. I was just trying. And now I'm kind of creating these little like toe sock things. That way we don't just have exposed toes. None of that. And then from the rest of it, I can probably use this mask technique I've been doing. I really like this mask lasso thing I got going on here when it works. Come on, there you go. That was fun. Yeah, like a panel right here, a panel on top of his foot. That makes sense to me. Always making sure to sharpen the mask before I extract this piece here. They have a masking brush that will do this and kind of like put plates on the model. I have it work to varying success. Maybe I'll try that on top of this afterwards. I don't know. I just know that I don't have any techniques that I for sure really like when I'm making hard surface, and I get a lot of these requests. So I'm either going to keep trying until I find a method I like, or I'm going to start denying these requests. So we're going to figure it out. All right, we're going to do close holes. Man, I really want these. Oh my God, that's Shark Boy and Lava Girl. That is a classic. I hate this little sock thing. It's okay. There we go. I just needed a little smooth moment. There we go. And then what if we had almost like more of like this fin shape happening? Because I know the organic shapes this is like inspired by, I can use that to my advantage. And start adding more of like this fin-like shape. I know we're gonna have a large one on his back. Yeah, I'll make sure to move the mask from his chest. Sharpen that up. Something kind of like that. Yeah, the lasso brush is definitely the way to go for me here. Just don't forget, if you're gonna be using this technique or doing anything that I am trying out here, that's all very kind of work in progressy. Just keep that in mind. I sculpt organic shapes with a lot of like these really sharp edges. It doesn't work as well for mech suits. You need to have more of like these like squared off polygons. And that's been kind of fun and tricky for me to figure out. Yeah, something more like that. Definitely just using a lot of rule of cool here too, where I'm like, trying not to get too lost in what's gonna look best or the most right as opposed to something. There we go. And then underneath here, one of my favorite parts about mechs is showing all of the like wires and stuff that are underneath. So I think that'd be cool if maybe I had some of that blocked out. Not too much because I don't want it to look like tentacle-y, and because I have such a stronger background in organics, I don't want to get leaned into that too far. All right, have another fin piece here, and then this is where I'll probably have the literal fin on his back. There we go. And then I can come through here with my polish brush and really start flattening areas out. And if I think it looks boring, I will figure that out too. Because I don't really love what these shoulder things are doing. They're not really doing anything. So something I do with faces when I'm trying to figure out planes is I will block them in with something like H polish. And then I kind of have these like points I can move around. This actually is very similar to the technique we did at the beginning. And I can move, see I have this edge here now. Let me make it really obvious using the standard brush, or damp standard. See? And now I can grab that point and move that around to get a more clear shape. Again, everything on this needs to be squared off though. See how this kind of got blobbed out? It's not too hard to move it around. And then my thought is that I can use polygroups and Z-remesh this. I don't have any polygroups yet because I haven't been masking as I go. But we'll have a bit of a paintbrush moment here. Once I like the sketch of what we have. Yeah. Looks like something. And then this, again, I was kind of just trying things out. What's cool is I can come through here with Trim Dynamic and I can literally just kind of sculpt it away. And then try new shapes that I like. I'm not going to worry about getting anything too terribly flat or squared off because once I put a hard surface, like I extrude this, it'll be easy to do. It is looking like something though. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I got some panels there. And then I don't know what I want to do in this little spot. Something a bit sharper. Flat, up, down. Yeah, so I like to kind of find a shape using the lasso brush, and then I can refine it using mask pen. Why are you crooked now? I love that he has these like little booty shorts going on right now. We're gonna fix that. All right, down, over, straight. See, it's like this kind of I was saying like muscle memory or like of shape that I don't have. And I want to have it though. Because even though I don't do a lot of mechs, it doesn't mean that I don't like them at all. I have a rule with myself where I can't dislike things I'm not good at. Because I think I'm a little childish and I won't like anything that I'm not good at. Once I get good at it, then I can be like, okay, did you like that? And if I say no, like, that's totally fine. But until then, I'm like, I don't think that's a bad rule for anyone to have, honestly. Feels like I'm giving him like a weird little robot tramp stamp right now. I will say just sculpting the armor onto the body looks better than expected. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I scrolled up there, Aloha. I saw you said, hey, I didn't get banned this time. So I had to scroll up. I'm like, what did you say? Well, good. Aloha is entertaining the peasants. What's new? I think I'm just going to make an actual piece here. Bunny says, Mia, when making mechanical creatures, do you think about how Ricky is going to pose them? Since the paneling is inflexible in some ways, it makes it easier, but in others, it makes it more difficult. So long before there was Character Creator 4, a long, long time ago, there was just me. So I've already posed all these things. I don't have to worry about that aspect at all, because I was him. Essentially, all posing requires sculpting. So every pose that Ricky does, I still have to clean up and do. So the body panels here, you could actually, next time you play a video game with hard surface, like especially like Mass Effect is a great one here. There is a lot of bending and stretching and weirdness going on with the armor, but you don't notice because you're just too busy playing the game. So I just fix like critical errors. So no, I am not worried about it at all, because anything that is a major issue, I fix. I hope that made sense. I'm gonna make this kind of like, what is it called? Cod piece. Especially when it's a bodysuit like this, it's really easy to pose and it's really easy to clean up too. And then any large extraneous pieces, whether it's like shoulder pauldrons or stuff, they don't deform at all. They are attaching to a point, like a prop, essentially. I do like questions like that though. It reminds me of like, well, how is Ricky gonna 3D print that? And I'm like, again, long before there was Ricky, there was me. I did it. So, and I think that's important too, that's why I tell all my students that want to get into 3D modeling as a business and sell 3D prints. I'm like, you need to be printing your stuff, because if it's not, there's nothing quite like you having to fight your own models and try and get them to print. That makes you a better 3D artist and make better products. Get that sharpened up a little bit. So I feel like a really easy way to add interest is just to draw a normal boring shape and then you kind of like shave off the edges of it. Can it really be that simple? I guess so. I like this method because everything is one subtool, and so I can kind of just push things around when I try out new things. I'm like, what would it look like if his abs were up here or his pecs were up here? It's kind of like using a transpose master, but all built in. Kind of fun. Tooth pen won't print. It's infinite thickness. It is just one piece. It can't not print. Needs gills necklace. Okay, not gonna lie. That sounds really cool. I appreciate y'all. Interesting. So this is like on today's episode of trying to do things the right way and then doing it really sloppy and finding out it looks just freaking fine. This has been the story of my life. If everyone watching right now, all of my artists specifically, because if you're like a plumber, please don't half-ass your jobs. Please don't build a house. It's going to kill people. I know plumbers don't build houses. I just mean people of trade. Anyway, if you're an artist, have you tried just doing it as quickly and as sloppy as possible and then seeing where that gets you? Just try it. Hear me. Just try it. Have you tried being worse? I'm not saying this is like the next Mona Lisa, okay? But it has not been that much time versus the technique I was trying out. And my God, was I getting nothing done. Just try it, okay? And then you can clean it up. You know what it reminds me of? Sculpting reminds me a lot of writing. Fun fact, I really enjoy creative writing and whatnot. And then your first draft is always garbage. And that's fine. And then it's honestly the editing that makes it so difficult. Yeah, you just make it exist first. You can make it good later. And it's like a little wobbly drawing here. And then it kind of like gets cleaned up. It's funny that I'm in the way. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna pin that. And I'm also going to take it. Thank you. Downloading that. I'm going to put that on every single step. I'm going to call it step 1. And that's going to exist in every single reference board I create from now on. Just as a reminder to myself too, because I forget. Thanks, Aloha. But for those also that are watching, they're like, wait, but how do you clean this up? I actually do know how to do that, and I want to make sure I show you guys how. Because this is not the mask extract process I normally do. So why did I just sculpt on top of this if I did mask and extract for other things? That's because this specific shape is so close to the body that I'm not changing the silhouette that much. If I was, I would do more of my mask extract technique, which again, we're gonna end up doing both for this guy. This is just step 1. So yeah, the moral of the day is be worse, it will make you better. I think I've said that exact same thing to my student Matt before. What if I made this kind of like a necklace? What's interesting is you can like sculpt shapes on top of these shapes, and then when you extrude them, it doesn't look as bad as I would expect. Interesting. Very peculiar. And then I think clay polish is going to be pretty clutch here. Yeah. Interesting. All right, what's happening here? Same hat. Dragon says, I shouldn't use an old paper stapler to staple the roof shingles on. Exactly. That needs to go into the Tavern Codes book. It does. Aloha says, one thing I also struggle with when I imagine how to do something in ZBrush is I think about the end goal a lot in the final piece rather than the initial steps. I do that too. Especially with things that I'm like, it's kind of like, I have a pen here. Thank God I'm using a pen, not like a hammer. Because it kind of feels like, let me move this so I don't hit the mic. I'm just trying to beat it into like the tablet. I'm like, would you just look cool? And of course it doesn't look cool because you're just starting, so. Relax, do it bad first, because you have to. Anyway. Wobbly circle, yeah. Empress says Mia, sorry, not to backseat Blaze here. My blood pressure just went from like, I don't know what normal is, but to like 1,000. Don't ever say that. Which arm are we designed to be the Iron Man magic laser shooter? Like, how do we go about that? Why such a horrible preamble to such a beautiful, simple question? Don't do that. I've actually done this before, of the laser thing, and I think it'll be on both of his hands. So what you do is you find a hand, you mask a circle, make sure it doesn't bleed through, crisp that circle up, and then you're gonna inflate that shape. Take the shape you have in here, smooth it down a little bit. If it doesn't want to, that's fine. You just kind of want to have this initial portal, and then what's cool is you have this entire library of, I think it's IMM Boolean. Yeah. Make sure you take your brush and then lower the depth, and then you can start adding these like panels in and that kind of stuff. See what I mean? So it's pretty much just that. It's really not too bad at all. I can use that same technique to also kind of detail what we already have existing here. It's going to make things look a lot better and a lot cooler and whatnot. But I needed to get initial shapes down before I did that. Those look like nipple covers. I don't want that. I don't want me laughing over that. Oh, okay. Oh, no, you're so good. Alright. Where else can I put? Nope. Port things. Kind of just trying things out. And what's really cool with these shapes here is you can do booleans as well. Bunny says, man, that one brush reminds me so much of Yoji Shinikawa's mech design. Rivets on everything. I mean, it's got to be held together somehow. I love that. All right. So one thing about this design I was a little confused about was it has a fishman head, but then it does have this robot or shark head that flips back. So I'm not sure how much I want to incorporate that. I do need to get some of this fish head happening though. So we're going to remove his current head. I'm just gonna mask it and then hide it. And then here we go. It's fishman head time. He needs nipple tassels to detect his underwater speed. Oh my god, somebody put Duke in TAVERB jail. That's really funny. Alright. And of course, Elo agree. I knew Elo would be like, nonsense, comment. I love that. Okay. We are making a fish man. First thing we're gonna do is kind of throw him off to the side. That actually does look pretty cool. Okay. I did do the thing, guys. At some point, somewhere along the way, it happened. Alright, so Fishman, I am so excited to do an organic sculpt right now. You guys have no idea. This is going to be a part of his neck. I'm going to duplicate this. And this will be the rest of him. So fish are really weird. They got kind of this upside down frowny face thing going on. And then fins. And give him kind of a wrinkly neck. And it's all going to kind of connect right here. You guys see, like, immediately I'm like, I'm at peace. I'm like, I know how to do this. Those are going to be his little fish eyeballs. And they mentioned he's kind of cowardly, actually. He has this great big mech suit on because the character is not very brave. I'm going to use Damn Standard. We're going to start carving out that big old fish mouth I'm talking about. Let me go ahead and mask just this bottom part. We're going to kind of pull that straight down. Hello, Foxy. We're working on a very difficult model today. It's a fish man in a mech suit. I've gone through like the 7 stages of grief, or 20 stages of grief. How many stages are there, guys? I know you'll know. Like 10 times, but it's okay. I'm gonna give him a little fishy mohawk. And we're also gonna give him some little fishy gills. fishy sideburns. Isn't it funny though how you guys are kind of seeing me use these same techniques I use for the mech on my organic sculpt? That's why I don't just like outright deny requests that I have. If I have any interest in it, I'm gonna try, because it makes everything better. It really does. And then he doesn't have any fins right now. I'm gonna make his eyes a little smaller. He's gonna have some of these little fins kind of point. Kind of looks like a little bit like a chicken right now. Let me use my standard brush to kind of create the corners of the mouth right here. There we are. And I actually don't like that that crease is as strong as it is. Let's try that again. There we go. Excellent. Fox says, super, I love challenging models. Oh, I'm glad that you guys know. And someone new is here. Hello, Robin. Welcome in. Let's give our little fish man some eyeballs and get that figured out. We got a long way to go on this model. He's looking a little angler fish right now. Not the worst thing. And now let's kind of change the structure and shape of his head a bit more. I kind of want it, again, to look afraid, kind of panicked, you know? So his head's actually too big for what I'm going to end up with. I had this neck here because normally I would need that, but because this model is kind of a unique one, you might actually just have like a little head. Little nervous head. Just panicking. No thoughts. Head empty. Just worried. Gonna make his mouth even larger. And let's bring those gills out a touch more. How has nobody sent me that reference of what's his face from Megamind? I think I'm gonna give this a little like fish eyebrows. It's gonna have more of like that, I don't know, goldfish coloring. Let's go ahead and come in with color spray. Kind of change this up a little bit. There we go. There we go, minion! Thank you. I'll just take my thing and go. I really like Megamind. Really good movie. So for this to really read and make sense, this like head cavity is going to need to be kind of large. Amazing. Thank you guys. Something kind of like this, and then I can really kind of construct that shark head off the back of it. I wonder how much of that shark head's going to move forward. Maybe I can kind of create those teeth and stuff. Again, because he's going to be inside of a mouth. Where do I put the shark eyes? I think right there. There we are. I see that Tavern Keeper's craft is over, but I'm having fun. I know, me having fun in my own live stream? Never. I never have fun with the peasants. Once again, Mia has strayed from the path and has started a sexy pinup stream for the poor fish man. No, Aloha. Why is today the day that we have over 20 people watching? Hello. It's always like a really hard request that I'm doing. They're like, it's like, I summon them. On a real note, thrilled to have y'all here. Hope you're having a good Friday. I'm transforming my Patreon request into 3D printable models. And like always, they're very difficult. Alright, I did not put that shark fin in the right location, and I have forgotten what a shark looks like. So we're going to solve those problems right now. I'm going to use my trim dynamic brush to kind of flatten this. Again, you need to make it exist first, and then you can refine it. That has been the theme of the day. I'm missing that kind of point to the shark nose. There we go. As well as this kind of exaggerated brow bone. There we go. I'm gonna add some little spheres for eyes, just so I have them as kind of a little landmark. Oh my goodness, Aloha. Oh my gosh, if it wasn't for your little like blue icon, nobody would believe that you're the mod, because those comments. They're like, who moderates the moderator? It's me. Alright, let's make this look angrier. And then flatten this out. Excellent. And then we will be adding teeth. My main concern right now is just getting things on the model. I can move around proportions, I can fix stuff later, but I can't fix it or work on it if it doesn't exist. And then I'm not sure how I'm going to reconcile the corner of the mouth here. I'm thinking there might not even be a bottom section of this shark head. We'll see. And then the actual fin itself, we need to do a little shaping on. Same with this shark fin. Have I never seen a shark fin in my life before? This is why I always joke that you need tons and tons of references, because like, I promise you don't know what anything looks like. That's not a slight on you, it's just the truth. I could always start in the low of making Foxy a mod. It would just be you two deleting each other's comments into oblivion, let's be real. Alright, there's gonna be another shark fin right here. Oh look, proportions are happening. Neato. It's also going to be gills somewhere here-ish. And the head will look more like a mech. When? I don't know. I have not figured that out yet. What if the teeth formed a visor, like in Power Rangers or something? Oh my god, that's a great idea. I think I had the mouth too open for that to work, but that's a really good idea. And nothing's finished. So, who knows? Oh look, a shark. So I can remember what a shark looks like. I'm gonna merge all these teeth down. I don't care if they get all wobbly and stuff. I'm gonna be... So it seems like the thing with hard surface is you make it and then you deconstruct it and make it again. I don't know if useful. Oh, isn't that Jinx's weapon? I have not seen season 2, so no spoilers. I'm gonna take these funny little shoe sock things and make them longer. There we go. And he also needs claws, and they're being mechanical. I don't know if I need to sculpt those into their own piece or if I can modify what's already here. I'm going to do auto groups, mirror and weld, and I'm going to delete all of the fingernails because I don't think I need those. There we go, those have been deleted. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm pretty clear, pretty open book around here. That being said, everything other than making the human body was done on stream, so you could also just rewind. Sometimes it's best just to see it done in real time. Hello, says Mia. Can you please apologize to early Mia for being mean about how it was going? Oh, was I being mean? I sure look mean in that picture. Look how disgusted I am. Just like, what is this shit? Yeah, no, it's happening. I don't know. There's something about... Guys, I think I'm a little, like, technique prejudiced. I don't like that I sculpted this onto the body using, like... God, that does look hard surface. I don't know. It's not... I have artists I look up to, and they don't do it this way. I feel like the way I'm doing it is dumb. But it worked. I don't know. If it works, it works. That's the best method, I guess. I just see people do hard surface, and it's so clean and, like, so cool, and it's just not what I do. I do it different. And, I don't know. I feel like sometimes to be, like, the people I like, I need to do it that way. But maybe that's not true. I'm discovering that might not be true. Okay, Loa, you're right. I apologize to early Mia. This is turning out fucking fine. This is turning out more than fine. This is actually turning out quite cool. Okay, so before the stream ends though, I do want to talk to you guys about... Oh, I lost all of his teeth. Oh no. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about how to clean this up though. And then it's like the best of all worlds. Essentially, we're going to create polygroups and then Z-remesh it. And then we'll have lots of really cool control. But let me add some teeth back. Oops. Can't forget about the lower teeth. Alright, good enough. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. We enjoy Mia's 3D models, not other artists' 3D models. That's true. That's true. What is this? This is exactly how Dragon sounds, by the way. Why are we bullying Dragon? Oh my god, it's probably because they know that we like them, so it's fine. If we're mean to you, it's a good thing. Bunny says, I think a lot of art teachers will tell you there is one correct way of doing things, and often it's good to learn that way, but you gotta find your own techniques. Yeah, that's true. And then, hey, maybe don't add teeth. That will poke the poor boy when the helmet closes. I mean, I imagine his head's gonna kind of like be more like this, like especially hidden. But no, I hear you. It's a lot of teeth. Maybe it's too much teeth. It's a little bit too much teeth. We're gonna get rid of a couple, but not all of them. I kind of like it just on the top. And then I can make this lower part more techy. Because I do want to give him like a little visor thing. Anyway, the cleaning up part. So we have this body here. I'm going to duplicate it and show you what I think is going to work really well. I'm turning on the wireframe by Shift F, and then I can grab my mask pen, and we're going to mask these areas that I want. It doesn't have to be perfect, but like that's an armor piece, that's an armor piece. There's another one. Oh, I need a polygroup as I go. Shit. So each time you mask a piece, you hit Command W and it will change colors, indicating that you now have a polygroup there. I love how that made the exact same color. That's just that happens more often than it should. It's just a coincidence. There we go, see? Different color. There we go. I'm just gonna do a few of these here. All right, you get the idea. Polygroups on pieces. You know, we might as well do his funny little underwear thing too. I haven't done this many times either, so I'm kind of excited to see what techniques I come up with. There we go. Cool, this is actually a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. Good. Because if I had to spend a ton of time like masking these to be perfect to find these polygroups, I would find a new method. Not about that tedious life. Just not. Alright, I'm just doing the upper body, which we did just fine. There we go, I think. Ah, there we go. Alright, so we have all these pieces here, and then what I can do is I can go to Geometry, ZBrush, make sure Keep Groups is enabled. And I think I can ZBrush this whole thing, but even better than that, I think I can ZBrush. Maybe I'll do isolated pieces first. Yeah, so I'm gonna duplicate this mesh, grab all of these segments here. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? What? All right, we're gonna do auto groups, mirror and weld. It's mad. Cannot be executed when something's hidden. Yeah, sounds good. All right, we have keep groups on, and then we're gonna do ZBrush by half, and it's gonna clean these up. Bunny says, I do like the visual of the suit swallowing him. Like, he's so shy, he shrinks back, but he's devoured by the suit, which becomes a different character. Ooh, very Venom. But that actually is very close to the concept, not Venom, but the concept of him being very shy. And they mention, like, where is this? Bunny, I'm gonna put the extra information that Rob shared with me in the chat. Here we go. I'm going to repost his request really quick, and at the bottom you'll see he describes the character, saying, I know it's a lot. As far as personality, if it's possible to show this, he's actually quite a coward, which is why I made his suit look like the scariest thing you can think of. Throughout the campaign, you'll have an over-exaggerated false bravado and speak with a classic Pan-American accent, like from pulpy sci-fi movies or Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. So yeah. Empress, that made me laugh. Good one. Alara said, I think this method works great. Just polygroup as you go, and it saves time. Also means you can sketch a lot more as it relies more on the masking rather than individual pieces. I think so too, Aloha, and like, damn, is it a lot faster? It is so much faster. And I don't want you guys thinking that I don't like spending time on my models, but I don't. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we need to get stuff done. All right, let's try this plus a freeze border. Yeah, and his arc is eventually he learns it wasn't the suit that made him brave, and he loses it and has to fight without it. Pretty much. I imagine that'd be perfect. And even more so because he's an artificer, so it makes him strong as his smart. It's not this suit that he did build the suit, so it could go both ways. Alright, we're going to inflate what is there. There we go, some cleaner pieces here. And then I wonder if I can crease the border automatically. That sounds like a function that should happen. Either way, all right, we're gonna have freeze border, and then we're gonna keep Z-meshing and see where that gets us. It is creating some interesting topology choices here. It's not really, oh, how about detect edges? That did a good job. And then from here, I think I can take my move topological and kind of square off these shapes a little bit. Though an easier way that I usually do is I will just use my crease brush with Z Modeler, so crease edge loop. Something like this, and I can polish by features and it will like crisp up. Let's see if that works. We're trying all the things today. Yeah, see what I mean? How that like kind of grabbed an edge. All right, so when I click crease by default, it already creased all of the edges, which I like. And I can just throw a line here and then mask my polygroups. Yeah, that kind of looks more like a leaf than what I was wanting. We're still trying things out. Though I do think this looks really cool, doesn't it? It's like this floating armor thing. Yeah, doesn't it look fun, Aloha? Just thinking. Not sure before, but I feel like this should be saved. It's super clean and fun. The rainbow makes it fun, I agree. I'm just thinking right now. I feel like I can make something really cool out of this, and it's like on the tip of my tongue. Are going to use some sort of copper patina color scheme, like artifacts being brought from the bottom of the sea. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be perfect. I don't know if I'll actually end up doing that, just because, again, that's not where I want to spend my time, is poly painting this, because that could take a long time to do it epic. But man, if I was going to properly texture this, I would do that, because that's awesome. See, I need to figure out what kind of shapes I want. That's kind of where I'm stuck right now. Because I like the corners that I had, but I kind of lost upon Z-meshing. How about I just undo it and then try it again? See how like it gets rounded and it keeps getting more and more rounded? I don't like that. I want to keep this aspect here. Okay, we're going to Z-mesh. We're going to keep groups and detect edges and Z-mesh by half. But first, let's just decimate down by a lot. There we go. That was a bit better in the results I got. But you can kind of see where we're softening right here, which I don't love. What about Z-mesh in same instead of half? You're still doing it. Stop it. What about freeze border? Freeze everything. That did a better job. We have some more interesting topology issues going on then. But I don't necessarily care about that because I'm just... There we go. Okay. I can use my... You know, instead of using my move brush, can use thickness to make that visible. Yeah. Interesting. Let's go with a darker color here. Interesting. His fingers look kind of like kelp. Oh my gosh. Interesting. Alright, sorry, very focused there for a bit. Someone new's here. Nifty Nozzle. What a fun name. It might be the smooth groups. I didn't have smooth groups enabled, I thought, but I might have. Oh, sure enough, it's turned to 1. Thank you. Thank you, new person. Very helpful. Foxy says, weirdest 6-pack armor ever? I don't even want to hear it. We are experimenting. We're having a good time. She said, nicely. Duke said, the rounded bulk armor seems gorilla-esque to me. You know, that's true. I don't necessarily hate that either. Again, we did a lot of weird stuff today. Today was tricky. Fun, though. Sounds good, Bunny. Thanks for hanging out. We're gonna try that again without the smooth groups. Kind of see what's going on. Yeah, that was totally it. Nope, don't close. Relax, ZBrush. Oh, it's gonna autosave, that's why. Whenever ZBrush is being weird, it might just be queuing up for an autosave. Don't just click frantically, you're gonna crash your program. Hey, thanks for the new sub. I appreciate it. Ruby. Grabby. What's with all the new people today with names I cannot pronounce? I'm so sorry. I do appreciate it though. I just want to go back to doing a friendly organic sculpt. I know these shapes. And then right on cue, Mech Gorilla. Add a little bit more volume to these corners of the mouth. Haven't done any eyelids or fun stuff like that. And then some fish scales will also be a really fun detail that can probably, once I incorporate it into the actual fish we have here, can also incorporate that into the armor. Gonna have some fun layering here. And then I will make these fins their own subtools later on too. But we're so early on, just trying to figure out these shapes. Use move topological to kind of fit these in. Looks ridiculous. Oh, what a fun start. All right, this was a tricky one. We got a long way to go here, but we have a start. We have a start. Empress says, I did my own student obligation for the day. Oh? Send me some updates and check them out. Oh, I like it. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into happy hour because I kept working on this and yeah, it's been an hour 45. I'll just move right along. Okay. Welcome to happy hour. This is a time I dedicate for my students to review their work and then ask questions. Even if you're not part of my mentorship program, you're more than welcome to ask questions. So yeah, that's it. Let's see what we got cooking today. Empress says, here's an update on the staff. Could probably be more dramatic, but has much more personality. Yeah, let's see what we're working on here. Oh, very nice. Again, the wood texture you have on here is quite nice. I like it. I like that you have more asymmetrical elements too. How do I reduce the ping count? I think you mean poly count. Sitting at a nasty 2.2 million. I know ZBrush is the only answer, but I can't recall the other method. Yeah, you wouldn't want to use ZBrush for this. If you want to preserve detail but to reduce poly count, you want Decimation Master. Go to Z plugin, Decimation Master, pre-process current will just pre-process your current subtool because it applies just a one at a time. And then down here, you can have a percent decimation. I usually like to tell it a number. So down here are the presets. With your staff, 150,000 points would be plenty. You can go from 2.2 million, I think you said you were at. Yeah, you can come down to 150,000 points and that would be just fine. That is not, again, ideal for if you're going to make it a game asset. 150,000 points is still way too high. You don't have to worry about triangles as much because it's not going to be deforming or rigged or anything like that. But there you go. There's your quick answer of how to reduce that other than just manually retopologizing it yourself. Good question. Also, it's looking beautiful. Good work. Oh my goodness, he's so silly. It's gonna be really cool though. For the first hour or so. Not mad about it. Empress says perfect, thank you. You're so welcome. Let's go ahead and save this and then do a recap of the week, shall we? We worked on a ton of different models and requests, so I got a lot to share. Oh, was this last week or the week before? I can't remember. One of the things I did, which was not on stream, is I posed that dino bird. Isn't he fun? So yeah, we got two poses here. Again, it's a prehistoric bird. It's a category of terror bird. I kind of like grab different components from different terror birds and put them together. But happy with how this guy turned out. Oh, thank you, Ricky. Empress says, also for the post assignment, I caught the start but missed the rest ahead of Jet. What were your tips for leveling up at this time around? No specific tips. You must find the answer in yourself. But play with shapes. Don't be boring. Don't just give me test tubes. Find stuff that you're inspired by, gather lots of references. I'm excited to see what you do. So yes, we did the terror bird was finished up, and then we did the tentacle, which was gross and awesome. I like doing organic shapes. I understand them. This is where I am at home. Hard surface is still very difficult for me, but I am getting better. The tentacle, I'm going to pose her a couple different ways. One where she's like sitting and kind of like asleep, and the other one where she has her tentacles kind of reaching forward and being creepy. All right, a couple more to review from this week. Our 2 for Tuesday was very successful. We did this lizard folk monk, and we also did a kind of Viking themed barkeep. So yeah, here's that lizard folk monk. Which I have both of these posed right now, but I'm not going to share them until those are finished. Here is that Viking barkeep I mentioned. Again, the lizard folk monk and the Viking barkeep were both done on Tuesday this week, which is our 2 for Tuesday, where I just make lots of requests. 2. There he is. And then Wednesday, I did not stream, I think. What did I do yesterday? Oh my gosh, that's right. Yesterday was the freaking half dragon minotaur. We did this one from scratch. So here is, we'll do stages. Here is the super early stage, obviously. Doesn't look like anything. All of this was done from a sphere. If you want to see the whole process, you can check it out on my channel. And then after another 30 minutes or so, we ended up here. I think the whole stream isn't even 3 hours. So it moves pretty quick. That's probably about the hour mark if I had to guess, just getting all of the shapes so they exist. There is a placeholder for everything. And then we started going through and actually refining. So I went for the head and the chest. You can see it's obviously looking much more impressive and recognizable, like an actual thing. But the rest hasn't been touched yet. And I'm gonna jump to the end here, which brings us right up until that, I think about 3 hour mark. I could easily put another 3 hours into this. And there we go. That's where we ended that stream. And this was done yesterday. I do love that even after a couple hours, I can have something to show, something to submit. I like how the little feet turned out. All of these are on my YouTube channel, so if you want to see the whole process in real time, it takes about a couple hours, you can see that. And then of course today, which was Hot Fish Man. Oh, thank you, Empress. Today was a ton of work. If you learned something or if you enjoyed the stream, please give it a like. It does help a ton. I love what I do, and next month, October, will be a year of streaming regularly. I'll probably have some sort of little fun celebration planned. At the very least, we'll have an Aloha mystery stream to get through, so that'll be fun. More hard surface. No. See, I'm tired. I'm so excited to eat some lunch. I will say the more I do it, I am getting faster, I'm getting better at it, so what do you know? Once I'm officially good at it, I can review if I actually like doing hard surface or not, because currently I'm not allowed to make a decision on things. If I'm not good at it, I know I won't like it, so I have to get good at it first, and then I can decide. Foxy says, my reference for 6-pack armor. Oh yeah, like a Greek hoplite. I mean, that's weird too, this top one. I have done that exact armor before, because I do have a Greek mythology collection. I think I specifically called it a hoplite commander. It's a really clean model. Yeah. Oh, this isn't quite it. For the commander, I did like these like tiered things. I love this because it has hard armor, like hard surface components, but it's easy. There was lots of fabric to hide behind. This is a lot of fun to do. I think it was just the actual hoplite that I have that kind of like imprinted style. Of course, he's turned, but he does have it. You can kind of see on the side here. I had references just like that when I did it. I love it's got all the faces going on now. Alright, let's move into last call. And wrong button. Last call, and then we'll move on into that's it. That's the end of the stream. Move on to nothing. I'm so used to saying that, it's usually go on break. We're coming up on 2 hours here. It's a quick one today. Pretty cool. But thanks for hanging out with me while I did this. Oh my goodness, I am ready for a weekend. I am. Normally I have a lot of like chatter at the end here, but my head is just empty. Just vibes, no thoughts. Well, we don't have any last minute questions from any students or whatnot. That's it. Aloha was like, yeah, we did it, guys. We did. Curious what you're gonna follow that up with. But we did do models. We did do the things. In that case, you guys have a fantastic weekend. Okay, take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys Monday. All right. Until then, take care, okay? Bye.